What if I told you the key to defeating one of humanity's greatest enemies isn't in a chemical or a radiation beam? What if the ultimate weapon against cancer has been hiding inside you this entire time? We just needed to figure out how to wake it up. For decades the war on cancer has been fought with three main weapons. We cut it out with surgery, we poison it with chemotherapy, and we burn it with radiation. But now a fourth horseman is entering the battlefield: immunotherapy. And its most powerful new form might just be the cancer vaccine. Now hold on, when you hear vaccine you're probably thinking of a shot you get to prevent a disease. This is different. This is a therapeutic vaccine, a treatment designed to teach your body how to hunt down and destroy cancer cells that are already there. Think of it like this. Your immune system is the world's most advanced police force. But cancer cells are masters of disguise. They're your own cells just gone rogue, so they have the perfect camouflage. They walk right past the immune cops without raising any alarms. A cancer vaccine is like handing your immune system a most wanted poster. It points out the bad guys and says go get 'em. And some incredible new research is showing this isn't science fiction anymore. Let's start with a team at the University of Florida led by a neuroscientist named Dwayne Mitchell. They had a radical idea. Most cancer vaccines are super specific, trying to target one type of tumor. But what if you could create a universal vaccine? One that could work against a whole range of different cancers. Their approach wasn't to create a specific most wanted poster. Instead they decided to build a giant alarm bell that would wake up the entire immune system. They used mRNA technology, the same stuff from the COVID vaccines. But instead of teaching the body to fight a virus, it teaches your cells to produce special signaling proteins. These proteins are like a drill sergeant screaming at sleepy immune cells to get up and get to work. It's a one-size-fits-all siren for your body's border patrol. But they didn't stop there, they added a second punch. A class of drugs you may have heard of called immune checkpoint inhibitors, or ICIs. If the vaccine is the drill sergeant waking up the troops, ICIs are the officers telling them, take the safety brakes off, you are cleared to engage. You see, your immune system has natural brakes to stop it from attacking your own healthy tissue. Cancer is clever and learns how to slam on those brakes to protect itself. ICIs release those brakes. The problem is some cancers are so mutated they become resistant even to these powerful drugs. So the Florida team tried combining their wake-up call vaccine with the brakes-off ICI drugs in mice. The results were stunning. They saw a powerful tumor-fighting response, even against cancers that were normally resistant to treatment. And get this, in some of the mice the tumors were eliminated entirely, completely gone. Oncologist Elias Sayar, one of the researchers, called it a proof of concept, that these could be commercialized as universal off-the-shelf cancer vaccines. A vaccine that could sensitize any patient's immune system against their own unique tumor. That's the universal approach, but what if we could get even more personal? What if we could create a bespoke weapon tailored specifically for your cancer? That's exactly what another team of researchers did for one of the deadliest cancers out there: pancreatic cancer. Only about 12% of people diagnosed with this disease are alive 5 years later. Immunotherapies that work for other cancers have so far been ineffective against it. But a team led by Dr. Vinod Balachandran at Memorial Sloan Kettering had a new plan. They partnered with BioNTech, the company that made one of the COVID vaccines. They took tumor samples from 19 patients after surgery, and they sent them to the lab for full genetic sequencing. They were looking for something called neoantigens. These are unique protein flags that only show up on the surface of cancer cells, like a custom tattoo that identifies a specific criminal gang. For each patient, BioNTech created a personalized mRNA vaccine, targeting up to 20 of that patient's specific neoantigens. The whole process from surgery to the first dose of the vaccine took about 9 weeks. 16 patients were healthy enough to receive the treatment, and in half of them the vaccine kicked their immune systems into high gear. It activated powerful immune cells called T cells that could now recognize the pancreatic cancer. And here's the incredible part. A year and a half after the treatment, the cancer had not returned in a single one of the patients who had a strong T cell response. For the patients whose immune systems didn't respond, the cancer came back in just over a year on average. In one patient, the vaccine-trained T cells even appeared to hunt down and eliminate a small tumor that had already spread to the liver. This isn't just a small academic study anymore. The biggest names in pharma are jumping in. Moderna and Merck have been testing their own personalized mRNA vaccine called mRNA 4157. They're combining it with Merck's blockbuster ICI drug Keytruda. They ran a phase IIb study on patients with high-risk melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer. The results after 3 years are mind-blowing. The vaccine and Keytruda combo reduced the risk of cancer recurrence or death by 49% compared to Keytruda alone. Let me say that again, almost cutting the risk in half. And it gets better. It reduced the risk of the cancer spreading to distant parts of the body by 62%. This was the very first time an investigational mRNA cancer treatment proved it worked in a randomized clinical trial. And it was the first combo therapy to show a significant benefit over Keytruda by itself in this type of melanoma. Phase 3 trials are already enrolling for both melanoma and non-small cell lung cancer. This is happening now. And the story gets even more amazing because some of the most important patients in these trials aren't even human. It turns out man's best friend might be the key to saving man himself. Sadly, cancer is the leading cause of death in our dogs. But this also makes them a perfect model for studying human cancer. Their cancers develop spontaneously just like ours. They grow and metastasize just like ours. And the canine genome is 94% identical to the human genome. At Yale University, a team led by Dr. Mark Mamula has been developing a cancer vaccine for dogs. Since 2016, they've treated over 300 dogs with it. The results are giving hope to pet owners everywhere. The 12-month survival rate for dogs with certain cancers has jumped from around 35% to 60%. And in many of the dogs, the vaccine is actually shrinking their tumors. The vaccine works by targeting two proteins, EGFR and HER2. These proteins are involved in cell growth, and when they're overexpressed, they can drive cancer in both dogs and humans. Take a dog named Hunter. He was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a nasty bone cancer. Typically, only 30% of dogs with this cancer survive beyond a year. 2 years after his diagnosis and treatment with the vaccine, Hunter is cancer-free. Dr. Jerry Post, a veterinary oncologist at Yale, said, "This vaccine is truly revolutionary. I couldn't be more excited." The research is so promising that a massive 5-year study called the VACCS trial is now underway. It's testing a preventive cancer vaccine in 800 healthy dogs, hoping to stop cancer before it even starts. Success in this trial could pave the way for a similar preventive vaccine in humans. These vaccine approaches are incredible, but they're not the only game in town. There's another mind-bending strategy called TIL therapy. TIL stands for tumor-infiltrating lymphocytes. If a vaccine is like training a new army of soldiers from scratch, TIL therapy is like finding the elite special forces who have already snuck behind enemy lines. Scientists go into a patient's tumor and surgically remove it. Then they carefully pick out the immune cells, the T cells that were already inside the tumor trying to fight it. These are the battle-hardened veterans. They take these cells to the lab and give them a kind of super soldier serum. They expose them to a substance called interleukin-2, which makes them multiply like crazy. They grow them by the billions. Then they infuse this massive supercharged army of the patient's own cancer-fighting cells back into their body. This isn't a new idea, it's been around since the 1980s, pioneered by Dr. Steven Rosenberg. But it's getting better and better. It's shown amazing results in melanoma and is now being used for cervical cancer, breast cancer, and even lung cancer. So what does all this mean? It means we are at a turning point in the history of medicine. The war on cancer is entering a new era. An era where we stop carpet bombing the body with toxic chemicals, and instead start using precision-guided munitions forged in our own immune systems. Whether it's a universal alarm bell that wakes up our inner defenses, a personalized most wanted poster that targets a tumor's unique identity, or a supercharged army of our own cells sent back into the fight, the future is about unleashing a power we've had all along. We've used vaccines to conquer smallpox, polio, and measles. The question is no longer if we can do the same for cancer, but when. What do you think is the most exciting part of this new frontier? Let me know down in the comments. And make sure you subscribe, because the science never stops, and neither will we.